Can you all see the Miro board?
Yes, Fabio, we can see it. All right, great. Okay. So do we have everyone in the group?
I think we do, yes.
Yeah, we listen to you.
Okay, great. Okay, so thanks very much. Apologies, I'm working with the screens.
Hello, hello.
So,
Namaste, namaste.
hello, namaste.
Mr. Upendra Kageshwari Manohara.
Sorry?
Yes, yes. I'm joining the group, okay?
Okay, great. All right. I think we can start. Now, so the first exercise that I mentioned was this work with this IP2 spectrum of public participation, right? So this tool helps us to be very, very specific about the way that we want to engage with stakeholders based on the outcome that we see, right? So as I had mentioned in the talk, there are 5 levels of engagement, right? So from going from informing the stakeholders to empowering the stakeholders, right? And then on the left of the matrix, you will see a public participation goal, you'll see the promise to the public, and the engagement method, right? What we're going to do for the next half an hour is really look at the public participation goal and the promise that we make to the public when we engage at each level, right? So Fabia has kindly prepared the sticky notes, right? And pre-prepared the objectives, right, of stakeholder engagement. So I would invite you to look at these, right, which are on the right-hand side here, looking like sticky notes, right? And invite you to, thanks Fabia for making that bigger, right? And invite you to just volunteer your ideas on where you think they should fit, under which level, right? So maybe we can start with 1, to place the final decision in the hands of the public. What level of engagement do you think that would be? So we are running an engagement process and we've said to the public, you decide. We're going to do, this is a situation, for example, when you run a referendum, right? Which Switzerland uses that a lot, right? So they say they're going to run a referendum and they tell the public whatever the referendum decides, that will be the policy, or that will be the decision, right? So what level of engagement is that?
So we have to stick, right? To stick on the right side to the table, right?
Yeah,
Because
so
we cannot see the sticker on the right side because it's too small.
Okay, Fabio.
It's very small. I cannot read. Yeah, thank you. On the right side, yeah, that one.
Right, great.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yes. Okay, to inform balance objective information.
So let's take the first one, the blue one, to place the final decision in the hands of the public. Which level is that?
How many levels you have? We have that to inform, to consult. What is the second? Inform. Wait. Okay.
Inform. Yes.
Wait. Inform. We have consult, and then we have involve, collaborate,
and empower.
So empower. So the first one is to place the final decision in the hands of the public. That is actually to empower, maybe, or final decision, right? Final decision is actually to empower, I think. What is it to empower? Because we need to look at the four sticker also.
No, that's a shortcut. That's a good strategy for people who do exams very well. Just look at one sticker.
Yeah, I think that one is to empower because it's already they have a final decision already. So actually to empower, I think.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's,
Yeah.
yes, any other views?
Yeah, the same views that it is empowered to place the final decision in the hands of the public. Without empowering, they cannot do this. And it's of course the empowering. Yeah.
Okay, super. Okay, so that's good. So Fabio, can you put it on the top row to place the final
Yeah, public participant.
Exactly. So you're going to, as I said, one of the tools that you can do this is a referendum, right? Right. Now, one thing about referendums, I would say they're very divisive, right? May not always be the best tool, right? Maybe last resort too, but just to say that this is just one way, right? Another way to place the final decision in the hands of the public is to think about maybe establishing a citizens jury, right? And this is a very, very, very excellent tool where the citizens are selected almost randomly, right? So you may decide that you might have one from youth, one from women, you may decide different makeup, but then they are the ones who are going to decide on a particular issue, right? And you feed them with very good information, they can hold their own consultations, but that's another way to empower, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Any risks? Does anybody see any risks with this particular level of engagement? Any risks, any concerns? What would be your concerns with engaging at this level?
any risk? Place the conversation in the hands of any risk engagement method.
Do you see any concerns? Is it something that you would do very quickly? Very easy.
Are we talking about the green one?
I'm talking about the blue one still, like this level of empowerment, right? And some of the methods that you could engage with, right? What are some of the risks associated with empowering the public in this way?
Yeah, some in my case study, perhaps because if I to what extent we can empower, because sometimes they really need donation, or they need some grants, you know. In my case study, because we can empower them, but somehow these people, they don't have the capacity. For example, when they want to demolish, and also because they involve a lot of owner, you know, they have it's a strata building, so they have a lot of owners. So what we can empower them is actually for them to understand the risk that they have to face, you know, because if they don't get the 100% consensus, because we cannot demolish the buildings. You know, you get what I mean?
I understand. So what you're saying is that
Shall I just add on something?
Please go ahead, yes.
Yeah, what I think is that while just putting the stakeholders to make the final decisions on the issues, of course, it's a very democratic and a very good way to make them finalize the issues and the whatever we are just targeting to the public. But the public means there are the multi-stakeholders in the same group, okay? And if there will not be the common understanding, I think there will be the conflict in between and to finalize the things in one way. And the other is that while setting our objective, if we miss something there, to inform them rightly about our targets, the vision, and the goal to all the stakeholders in equal manner, then again, I think the proper decision making may somehow and sometimes be disturbed or something, maybe not in a collide or with our objectives, you know. I think that these things may be challenges in between that comes.
Yeah, thanks very much for that. I think that's an important point, because conflict can stall the process, right? And sometimes if you have conflict which is very damaging, it's almost better that you did not engage at all, right, in that way. And I think we have all experienced that, right? So I
True.
think the main thing is that it's a big risk and reward issue, right? So if it
Yeah.
goes well, there's a lot of rewards because then you have a group of people, citizens who are really
Yeah.
empowered, right? They're empowered, they're knowledgeable about the issue, they will advocate for you as a leader, they will advocate for your programs, and they will advocate for the decision, right? Now, if there is conflict which is not managed properly, right?
Yeah.
So that is where you have a risk. So what is really important when you go to that level of engagement, the empowerment side and collaboration side, you need really good facilitation, right?
Yeah.
You need facilitators who are not afraid of conflict, facilitators who are trusted by the community, right? You need to choose these people carefully. And you also need a mechanism for dealing with conflict that everybody agrees with ahead of time, right?
Of course. Yeah.
Because it's also this issue of empowerment. It's an exercise in building citizenry and citizenship skills, right?
Yeah.
Because experience in this kind of processes really helps, right?
Yeah.
Build individual capacity as well.
The level of ownership will be high among the stakeholders if we go through this process, but that's what you told before, that facilitation is much important in between.
Absolutely critical. I have myself been in a situation in a workshop where one stakeholder said, I don't know what we're doing here, let's stop this, right? Luckily, I had an expert facilitator. He put everyone, he said, okay, we stop. You want to stop? We stop. Put everybody in a circle, right? And he said, let's hear everyone's views because what your view may be your view only, right? Let's hear what everyone else thinks, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
expert facilitator, it turned out when he did that this one very loud person was a very lonely person also, right? No one actually agreed.
And as you told before, there should be a very clear-cut code of conduct or memorandum of understanding that if conflict arises, then how can we resolve the issues?
Absolutely, absolutely. And being able to resolve conflict well is also an exercise in building citizenship, right? And when you're dealing with issues like waste or water access, right? This is where you're going to have conflict, right? And this conflict is the reason why things stay the same for so many years, the inability to deal with conflict, right? So that's one point that I want to make about that. Okay, so let's move to the next one. To the white one. To provide the public with balanced and objective information. To assist understanding of problems, alternatives, opportunities, and solutions. And to pass on information that they may need. So what level of engagement do you think that one is?
I think there is more to inform with the issues regarding the certain things, certain matters.
Yes.
Yeah, to inform. I think this is the first thing before we proceed with initiative or whatever. So they really need to be informed on the situations, what's going on, for them to get for us to give to get their buy-in on certain programs and also initiative.
Right, exactly. So does anybody else have any views on this?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is of course, it is the basic, primary, and the very fundamental things that we need to handle while doing the public consultation on any of the issues, because the entry is this, if we just best to inform people in an accurate way, the exact things, what we are planning for, then it will mismatch the things. So we should be very conscious and very, clear to inform this kind of informations to the stakeholders so that they come to the common point that what we are targeting. I think it's very important and the basic fundamental things that we need to focus on on high priority.
Thank you so much.
Yes, I think maybe I can add some more because as a government, as a third tier government, they will listen to you because we are the authority. You know, we are the right authority to tell them what's going on to get their buy-in before we can suggest a few programs or whatever to suit their problems or issue. So we are actually at this point, at this juncture, as a government. So the first thing that we need to do is actually to inform because they will trust us when we inform because we are the authority. So when the information is actually from the authority, they will actually they will trust us. So it's easy for us to proceed with next of action.
Great, yes, thanks very much, yes.
And what I would like to add is that it should be much more based on the facts and figures, so that people become more convincing. I think we should prepare on that way. The facts and figures should be there to make them convinced on the issues.
Right. So if you look at the sticky, a bit too difficult to read at this point, but it's okay, right? We emphasize their balanced and objective information, right? To assist the public to make their decisions and make understanding of the problems very clear, right? And also it should be balanced, right? I mentioned balance before because there may be alternatives.
Yeah.
Right? It's important.
Balance is important. Yeah.
Balance is important because remember what we're doing is building trust, right?
Yeah.
Now people are very often smarter than we think they are. Okay? Right? They can smell a rat easily, right? If we try to convince them of something which is not true, even if it's very aligned, even if our objectives are very sincere and pure. This is very, very critical. So some of the ways in which engagement at informed level happens, very quickly, if anybody can share.
That one? I cannot see the word.
Some of the ways, like
it's very, very small. I cannot read the words actually. I'm so sorry.
It's
We are
okay.
all ready.
Just at the bottom, engagement method, right?
Engagement method, okay.
I mentioned before that we use referendums or citizen jury to empower, right? At the empowerment level. At informed level, what are some of the common ways? This should be easy.
Oh, engagement method to inform.
Yes.
Maybe we can call for a town hall discussion, right? Town hall discussion. And then also we can do some survey, WhatsApp surveys, and also we can also connect with the resident association, engagement method, right?
Okay.
As we have, we can actually publish in our website just to inform. At the first place. We can do all the social media, TikTokers, just to inform what's going on in our area.
Right. Okay, so some really good ideas there. I want to come back to them and dissect them a bit because when we talk about inform, think about it's a one-way communication. Yeah, inform is one way. Inform is different to consult because consultation is two-way. Consultation means we're going to listen to what you have to say, right? So I would say that a town hall discussion or a survey or social media even goes in the consult block, right? With a website publishing, definitely one way, right? If you just have it as a web, then that's inform, right?
I see.
Yeah. Have to be very intentional. Are we going to be consulting with people? Okay. So thanks very much. This is good start. We're making good progress. Okay, so if we want to invite public feedback on a proposal, analysis, alternative, or decisions, this is the green sticky. I think you can read it. Need bigger?
Involve. So invite public feedback on the proposal, analysis, I think invite public feedback on the proposal, analysis, invite. Consult, I think, because you need to invite public. I mean, you consult them to.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a very good guess. Anyone else has any other views or any other ideas about what that could be? There are 12 people in the chat here.
Yeah.
All mayors, honorables, thank you for your kind attention. So we have a proposal that this inviting public feedback on a proposal, analysis, alternatives, or decision is about consultation, and yes, indeed it is, because it's about two-way, right? It's about two-way communication, okay? Now, the thing about two-way communication is that when your public takes time to attend your town hall, to answer your survey, or participate in your social media, they expect some degree of accountability for what you are doing with the feedback that they do give, okay? So that's when the accountability starts creeping in, right? And that creates new demands for resources, for communications, etc. Okay. So let me move to the next one. We have to seek the public's inputs throughout the process to ensure that their concerns and aspirations are consistently understood or
Seek
considered.
the public input throughout the process to ensure that their concerns and aspirations are consistently understood or considered. To seek the public inputs.
It ensures their involvement, I think, this public inputs throughout the process to ensure. Yeah, it's their talking about this, their involvement, the fruitful involvement, yeah.
Yeah.
6. I think it's 2. The other one is to partner. Okay lah. Partner is actually collaborate lah.
Yes, okay, Flavia is very quick.
Agree. Agree.
So is it involve or is it collaborate? Which one?
2, 6. Yeah, very
So-
good.
Okay. So we agree that it's involved? Okay, so I would agree that it's involved because we're talking about consistency, right? Over time, right? A very important attention to understanding, right? And ensuring that the views are considered, right? And it's about involvement throughout the process. Okay, it's not quite the same as a partnership or collaboration, right? But it is much stronger than a consultation, all right? So if you're involving, maybe you have an advisory group, for example, right? That may be one method, engagement method, right? You might decide that you're going to establish a scientific panel, right? A focus group that you might check in once in a while with, right? But consistency is about, involvement is about consistency over time and care for the feedback that you've received, right? Here we're getting into, I want to say, high reward in territory because, again, this is where you can get tremendous buy-in for your initiatives, okay? Because each of these groups that you do involve in this way, as long as they feel that their feedback has been fairly considered, they become advocates for your project over time, okay? Because they understand the rationale and they can advocate for you, okay? Now, Fabio, would you mind to let Fernando know that we may be finished in about 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes? Yeah?
Will do.
Okay, thanks so much. Okay, so then the last one, and then we'll talk about another topic, is about partnership, right? So we know where that fits because we all do our exams very well, and that goes under collaborate. Okay, so this is about partnering with the public, and as I said before, it's a little bit where you're entering into marriage territory, right? And here it says public, but this may be specific stakeholder groups, it may be professional bodies, it may be specific civil society organizations, it may be community group that's responsible for a specific district. But the point is that it's about really being accountable for sharing power in the decision making, right? Including what alternatives there are and what solutions might be put in place, right? So this is not the level that you want to engage at if you've already decided what the outcome is, okay? And this is a point that I wanted to make earlier. If you've already decided what the outcome is because you actually have absolutely no room, right, for any other decision, then you should stay at the informed level. Because what happens when you start consultation, involvement, collaboration, and empowerment, what you've already decided is that you're going to risk losing the public's trust. Okay? So it's very important to understand what's the situation with your decision. As you move through consult, involve, collaborate, or empower, you then are harnessing the creativity of people, right? So very often we talk about getting people to buy into our decisions or to support our decisions or build ownership for our decisions, right? If we've decided what our decision is ahead of time, then we should be very, very, very careful about consultation, involvement, collaboration, and empowerment, right? There should, even though we may know 60% that we want to go in a specific direction, that we should leave 40%, 30%, 50%, 60%, 70% open to honestly hear the views, right? I talked earlier about the values-based engagement. This is where values and honesty become a really important part of your engagement with the public. So it is not necessarily very honest to engage with the public and say, we want to hear your views when we've already decided, right? And I use the term honestly in a very kind of very colloquial way, right? Not accusing anyone about anything, but we have to think about all the nuances you go through as you engage at various levels. That's why very often it is okay to stay at consult if we're very clear that this is the limit of what we can promise, right? And the limit of what we have in terms of the room for decision making and creativity, right? But let's be intentional about it because we know about the potential rewards of engaging higher up and the transformative potential of that, right? One final topic I want to talk about with respect to the spectrum, it's about the promise that you make to the public at every level. So I started to talk about it already, right? When you inform the public, right, you're telling them that you're going to have information from us on this issue. That's the promise. A very simple promise, not complicated, and not crucial, right? We're going to just keep you informed, okay? When you consult, right, the promise is we are going to hear you, right? We're giving you the space and we are going to hear you and we will consider your views, okay? We may have an idea where we want to go, but we do have space to consider your views. When you go to the involved level, right, it means we think that you are important to this process, right? And we will pay attention to your views because they matter and because they're influential, right? Your views will be heard. Okay? If you're collaborating, now, as I said, you're getting into marriage territory, right? Now you're getting to obligations. If you're developing a partnership with someone and you betray that trust by engaging in a way that tells your partner that actually, I'm not very sincere about this, right? Actually, I had this other transaction or this other engagement happening, and you know what, the minister has decided had already decided, right? I just did this because we have to make the minister happy, right? This is where you're getting into dangerous territory, right? Sorry?
Oh, sorry.
No worries. Okay, so, and the last one is about empowerment, right? This promise is that we are going to do what you say we think you should do. You think we should do, right? We will follow your advice 100%, right? Okay, so that means that promise needs to be carefully framed, right? As I said, it's about building trust. The most powerful engagement builds trust, right? Engagement that you should not do is the engagement that destroys trust. this spectrum is a very powerful tool for being intentional about your choices, and very intentional about your choices is reaching, right? Okay, collaboration, some of the engagement methods would be partnerships, for example. And different multi-stakeholder bodies. Are there any other ideas around this issue of, sorry, collaborate, under collaborate, Fabio, could you put civil society, maybe, let me see something, social audits, civil society, joint social audits, yeah, of progress, right? So you may decide as a mayor that you want to establish a civil society body which will help with your auditing of your delivery, right? And that means collaboration, communication, etc., and trusting, but it is not about empowerment at the same time, right? So you may engage a civil society organization in even setting the targets or defining the indicators that they will track over time, right? That's collaboration, right? Okay. Does anyone else have any examples of collaboration? From your own work, can you think of your own career and your own experience?
Didn't see.
We get in my case, we try to collaborate with the the technical agencies which is experts in slope remedial, because partly the towers that collapse is because of the failure of the slopes. So we collaborate with the one of the technical geotechnical agencies which is very expert on the slope remedial, just to get their experts on the conditions of the slopes when later when we want to go for the demolish the buildings, we try to get and also to collaborate with all these technical and geotechnical experts.
Great. Yes, it is always actually very good to collaborate with technical bodies, right? Because it adds credibility to the work that you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a very, very important engagement method. If for example, you're undertaking any kind of transformation, having external expertise, right? If it is an issue which is potentially conflict creating, right? Having that backup is also is very, very useful. Thanks for sharing that. It's a very good one.
Yeah, the similar experience we are having is while we are conducting our water, the drinking water project, we hired a consultant group there to, to have consultations and their feedbacks regarding any of the, because it is totally a technical issues, the pressure, valve, and fittings and everything. And all these things needed to be, examined properly during the fittings and during doing the project. So the examinations report from the consultative groups, we require that, and they just provide that. On that basis we make the other arrangements. That's what I think that helps us a lot, because their technical experience has always helps us not to go to the failure to the project. So I think the such kind of things of the collaboration with the, especially with the experienced team, is always very very important.
Super, great. Thanks for sharing that example. Okay, so I think we will move now to the next part of the exercise. We will have only 5 minutes here, but I think we can manage that. So I think, Fabia, here we will do the polling exercise, right? Okay. So these are all some of the indicators of transformative engagement, right? So I'll just talk through them a little bit, right? So when you are looking at a stakeholder engagement process, or maybe let me just refer to your projects, right? If you can work into any of your projects methodologies for building understanding and collaboration between stakeholder groups, particularly stakeholder groups who do not usually work together, right? Or stakeholder groups who may have opposing positions, right, in your project, or in the opposite way, stakeholders who have very aligned interests, right? These can be very transformational interventions in your stakeholder engagement planning, right? Because you can change the social dynamics purely by creating this opportunity for having social contact between different groups, right? The second one is about stakeholder capacity building, right? We very often hear stakeholders don't have capacity, etc. Now, stakeholder capacity, it's all very relative. Stakeholders have different kinds of information and perspectives that engagement leads do not always have. It's important to recognize that, but sometimes stakeholders need particular capacity to understand the issue well before they engage well, right? So, for example, one of the award-winning examples that I shared at the beginning of the presentation that I made earlier was a situation where students were used actually to be the ambassadors, right? I mentioned this before, for the project, and they were the ones who approached the parents to explain what was happening in the school district and the fact that the schools had to be closed, etc. Now, these stakeholders needed to be trained, right? These youth needed to be trained, right? So capacity building can be transformational, okay? Third point is about integrating economic, social, and environmental perspectives. Very often we don't see in our daily lives how the economic aspects and the social aspects and the environmental aspects come very close together, right? So the more opportunities you have to bring these different perspectives together in your project, the better. So if you have a group that deals with environmental issues, there's a mention about technical experts, right? If you can bring them together with civil society, let them sit down, let them diagnose what is really the problem, right? Because the way that the problem is framed depends on where you come from, right? Can groups from diverse backgrounds come to a joint understanding of what the issue is? And can this joint understanding of this issue present a new way of solving a problem, right? So number 3, potentially transformation as well. So number 4, dealing with conflicts, right? I mentioned before how important it is not to run away from dealing with conflict, because these conflicts, especially the long-standing ones, are the ones which need to be resolved to make any movements forward in terms of transformation, right? And we talked about the fact that it needs excellent facilitation and excellent planning, right? And rules for managing the conflict, right? Number 5 is providing space for innovation. So this is about creativity, right? It means engaging stakeholders in a way that they have influence, but in a way also that they can think out of the box, right? That they can express themselves freely. It means very often sitting down in the coffee shop instead of sitting down in a hotel and doing the workshop, right? It's about making sure that you can provide space for new ideas, right? And that space may be physical, that space may be working in local languages, it may be meeting farmers where they work in the farm so they're more comfortable. There may be different ways in which you do this, but space for innovation is critical to build into your process. Number 6 is about taking a long-term perspective, right? You all have very long-term perspectives of what you're trying to achieve. So solving the waste issue is only part of the picture, right? It's a step to creating a more livable city, right? Take a long-term perspective so that you take the risks that are needed to transform the social capital that will take you to the final perspective that you're looking for. I would like to ask you to do a very, very quick poll. Fabio, we only have 1 or 2 more minutes. Which 3 indicators seem to be the most important for your current project that you've shared today?
Yes, please.
Yes, so Fabia, do you have the poll set up? Or shall we-
Yes, feel free to either put your answer in the chat or just turn on your microphone and say it out loud.
Yes, I'm okay with the microphone, okay?
Okay,
Yeah.
please.
As we have already discussed that regarding the completion of any of our target programs and the projects, the very useful the phenomenon of doing the project, starting from the informations, consultation, involvement, collaboration, and empowerment. Yes, it's very crucial, important, and if we have to talk about our water project, then this is, we are just having a project which provides the water facility to almost around 6,000 households, and because it is their need, but doing the project, there are so many hassles that we have to overcome in between. And
I'm just alerting you that the room will close in 50 seconds.
yeah,
Apologies.
that's fine.
If you can just give us the numbers in the context of your project, the ones that you think are most important.
Yeah, that's what
Mine is 6, number 1.
For this, the most important is the collaborations. The collaboration is so important.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Apologies, Honorable Mayor.
No, we understand. We are out of time.
Yes, okay. Okay. Any other votes?
Mine is number 6, number 1.
Number 6 and number
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
Okay.
And number 3 is number 2. Number 3 is number 2.
Okay.
Oh, no,